What's good, everybody? It's John. I'm coming back at you on a video. So, with this video, I wanted to share a piece of advice that will help take you far in life, and that is this: never stop learning. Now, what you need to realize is that each and every day, your mind needs to be fed information, right? The same way when you wake up and each and every day you're alive on this planet, your body needs food and needs nutrients, right? The same way you need to feed your body is the same way your mind operates too. Each and every day you need to feed your mind. And you have the choice as far as what you decide to feed it. You can feed your mind junk food, which in that case would, literally be eating junk food, or also be feeding your mind negativity, right? In the case of watching, for example, mindlessly being on social media or mindlessly watching the news, because if you aren't aware of it, right, news outlets are owned by larger corporations, which of course would have their agenda as far as what they want to push, right? And that's why it's no surprise that if you turn on any sort of news outlet or go on the news websites, most of the stories there are negative, right? They're bombshell reports, or this bad incident happening to this person all the time. That's usually what it is, because it's usually the bad events is what people love talking about, because people love the next juicy story. People love to hear and talk about drama, right? That drama sells, right? And so if each and every day you need to feed your mind just as you need to feed your body, what is it that you are feeding it, right? Most people don't have that gate in front that's protecting their mind as far as what they decide to feed it, right? Most people don't have a filter as far as what they're going to allow their mind to consume, right? It's almost like we as people, we just have the tendency to follow the crowd, right? It's almost like, oh, everyone is doing this, so I should be doing that as well. You don't need to follow that, right? You don't need to be a sheep just like everyone else, right? You can choose to stray away from that and be the gatekeeper of your mind, right? You want to remain a free thinker and be able to think for yourself, make decisions for yourself, right? And when it comes to your mind, what you need to understand is you can always learn things, right? You're never too old to stop learning, right? I know people in my life who believe that they're too old to learn a new skill, that they're just incapable, when in reality, they're just choosing not to. They're just choosing not to feed their mind with the right information, right? So many of us know people in our lives that are problem-oriented people, that whenever a problem comes about, all of their focus, it's solely on the problem and never on the solution, right? And oftentimes the problems that most people face, solutions exist, right? Or someone has written a book about it, or that information for how to get from point A or wherever you're at to point B or where you want to be has already been accomplished by someone, and that information exists, that blueprint exists, the instruction manual is out there. But yet people refuse to go look for that, because plenty of people just believe that their life, the way it is just life. That if they're suffering, if they're in a position that they don't want to be, that it's just that they just received the short end of the stick with life, and that it is what it is. But that's not the case, right? Because you're always learning. Your mind is always hungry for information. It's hungry to seek knowledge. It's hungry to seek the truth. And you have the power to decide what you feed it, what you allow it to consume. You can always learn a new skill. You can always improve yourself. You can always change your attitude. You can always get better. You can always seek out that information that you've been longing for, that can help change your life, that can improve your situation and change your life, that can change your attitude and your mentality. You can look for that information exists, right? I'm living proof of it. I was generally still a happy person, but I felt as though back then I needed a reason to be happy. And if I experienced problems, oftentimes my attention would go to that problem, even though I would look for solutions, right? But I would still be more or less like more anxious or more worried back then. And I wasn't as confident in myself back then as I am right now, right? And that's because I decided to seek out the truth. I decided to continue learning and to continue growing as a person, right? There's some people who are in the, you know, older stages of their life that is the same person that they've been for 1, 2, 3, 4 decades. They've been the same person, living the same life, and yet they're unhappy. They've been unhappy. They complain nonstop, and yet they've never done anything about it, right? I'm sure because they believe that they can't learn anything, that they believe that their whole life already happened, and so now this is just a tail end, and that's that, right? Not understanding that you never ever stop learning, that there's always something new you can pick up on. There's always some new information that you can come across that can change your life for the better, that can help change your mindset and change your perspective, your entire view of the world. There's information that exists out there. There can be that one book that exists. Well, this is, of course, infinite plethora of books, right? But there can be that one book that you read thinking that you're just going to come across it to read it for pleasure, that can end up completely changing your entire perspective, or how you view yourself and the world for the better, right? You never stop learning. You feed your body each and every day to stay alive and to keep going and to have the energy to push through. It's the same thing with your mind, right? Now, of course, whatever you feed your body, it goes to your mind as well. But I'm talking about information wise, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to be a new book. You don't have to finish a book and then right after pick up a new book. It can be the same content. It can be the same book, the same course, the same audio. But what's important is that you keep feeding your mind, because repetition is what builds the foundation of what it is, of the person that you want to grow into and become, of the mindset that you want to have. You need to continue repeating that, right? That's learning. That's growing. It's if you're not in a position where you're living your dream life and moment to moment you're blissfully happy, then that means there's something that you can improve upon. Then that means there's something that you can change for the better so that you can get to that point. You need to remember this. You never stop learning. There's always something out there, right? Even myself, right now, I'm reading a book, a new book, right? I started probably like a couple weeks ago. And this book is definitely a lot denser, but it has a lot of the same wisdom and teachings that I've read in some of my previous books and some of my favorite books. I immediately see the wisdom in it. So this is just essentially refining what I've already learned, right? This is the repetition that's kicking in, because I can see how this can make me the best version of myself if I continue applying myself. You can never remain stagnant, right? You have to understand you can always learn a new skill. You can always pick up on something. And that is the joy of life as well. The joy of life is uncovering more about yourself, learning more about you, right? Until you hopefully arrive at that perfect version. And because we're human, it might be quite a stretch to ever reach there, but that's what makes it fun, because you always have something to aim for, right? It does not matter how old you are. You never stop learning. Your mind is always looking to be fed information. So just remember, you are the gatekeeper of your mind, and you're the one that decides what to feed it. Are you going to feed it negativity, bad events, bad things, right? And have the same negative thoughts and pessimistic view that you've had for a long time, and you continue thinking it over and over and over, and nothing ever changes in your mind. You never come across any sort of book or any content that helps change your mind or perspective on life. all of your thoughts, everything that you've created and vibrated, it's created your life, right? So if things aren't the way you want them to be, then that calls for a change. Then that may require you to go out and seek knowledge so that you can be better. And with your improvement, you can then begin taking steps to create the life that you want, right? Life, at the end of the day, is what you make of it. Either you're going to have fun and enjoy it and appreciate everything that you have here while you're here, or you're going to, or not, right? Or you'll just take everything for granted. Up to you to decide. I just want you to remember that your mind, each and every day, is craving information. It doesn't have to be new information, but every day it's craving information and is waiting to take directions from you. You have the power each and every day, moment to moment, to give it that direction of what to focus on. Are you going to focus on the negative or put all your attention into the positive? You're free to choose. So that wraps up the video. If you enjoyed the video, do leave a like and subscribe as we are on the road to 100 subscribers. So singing, guys, it's Joel, and I'm out. See you guys for the next video.